everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Anna. I like to read books and I'm so happy you're here. I'm gonna give a little bit of notices and life updates before we get into today's video. So yeah, let's do it. First of all, life updates. I have been doing a crap ton of things this summer. First of all, obviously graduated high school. I talked about that in the last video. Just got back from a mission trip to Uganda, and that's my fourth time going there, which is where we're getting today's drink from, which is Novita. And if you don't know what this is because you've never been to Africa, it is basically a carbonated pineapple drink that is literally to die for. It is so good. So this is going to power me through today because I am insanely tired and need to pack because I'm also leaving for another mission trip tomorrow, and I'll tell you where when I get back, just for safety reasons. But yeah, so I've been crazy busy, and now there's the possibility of me going to school in the fall, and we're just finding out, figuring out what I want to do with my life, the whole shebang. So I've been very out of the loop. I've definitely fallen really behind on my reading goals, and I'm really sad about that, but I'm really trying to get back into it. I fell into a horrible book slump between my last missions trip and today. I finally started getting, I'm trying to finish the Remnant Chronicles series, which is the prequel series to, well, it's not a prequel series, it came out first, but it's the first trilogy that prequels the Dance of Thieves duology, which is one of my favorite duologies of all time. I've actually already read the first book, which is The Kiss of Deception, but I'm currently rereading that because I totally forgot everything that happened. And from what I remember, I'm definitely liking it this time a lot more. It definitely took me a while to get back into it because, like I said, I was in a horrible reading slump, but I think I'm finally back in the rhythm of that. So hopefully that gets me out of it. I'm able to meet my reading goals, which is super ambitious. I'm definitely gonna have to include a lot of audiobooks to get this thing done by the end of 2025. But yeah, that is enough life updates for now. Okay, guys, I'm already running out of energy. We gotta... Also TMI, but I'm PMSing right now, so I'm literally so fatigued and actually out of my mind and want to die in a hole. So caffeine and sugar have to get me through. All right, today's video topic is actually one that quite a lot of people do, but I thought it would be fun to do on here because I needed a sit down video because, like I said, I haven't been reading that much lately, and I don't have any reading vlogs, TBRs, wrap-ups to really do. So I thought this was a good, filler video until I get out of that book slump, and to keep you guys occupied while I am away. But today we're going to be talking about Bookish Hot Takes, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a strong opinion that you have on any bookish topic. A hot take is really just an opinion you have that kind of goes against mainstream opinion. And so yeah, I had you guys comment and DM me some of your main bookish hot takes, and we're actually going to talk about some of those today, and I'm going to react to them. Keep in mind, this is all everybody's own opinion, my own opinion. Everybody is entitled to have their own opinion, and we're going to respect everyone's opinion. I may not agree with some of you, but that doesn't mean I don't respect your right to have an opinion. Also, before we do anything else, I will give a warning. If you don't know, my house is 100% not soundproof, and I'm not bougie enough yet to have a mic. So if you hear the stomping in the background, that's my brothers. Or if you hear screaming in the background, that's my brothers. Not in a bad way, they're just brothers. Hopefully I'm moving out soon. Anyways, point being, if you hear weird things going on, it's normal, deep down. But yeah, so let's get started with some of the responses that you guys sent in. By the way, if you send a response in, thank you so much. Or what keep this channel going, and I'm so thankful for each and every single one of you who choose to come back video after video, and I love you guys so much. All right, first one, I'm just gonna scroll randomly. All right. Here, we'll start with an easy one. Okay, I'm not gonna read y'all's names and keep them anonymous, you know, for privacy's sake and whatnot. But one of these says, it's totally okay to not finish a book if it's not holding your attention. I 100% agree with this. DNFing a book is something that took me so long to come to terms with. And honestly, I didn't feel the freedom to do it until I started watching other booktubers and seeing that they did it. I don't know, like some part of me always like not felt bad because it's not a person, but also felt guilty for not finishing a book. Like if I started one, because one, it either counted toward my reading goal or I just felt like I wasn't giving it really a fair shot. But I've come to learn like you're wasting more time if you choose to follow through with a book that's not holding your attention rather than if you just DNF'd it and went to something that is. Because genuinely, like when you don't read a book that obviously is entertaining you, then you won't get through it as fast. And now I'm not saying that there aren't some educational books, there aren't some typical boring books that may not hold your attention as much, but are 100% worth pushing through to the end. That's also a whole different topic. But as far as just in general, if a book isn't holding your attention, babe, you don't have to feel bad. Just put it down. Just put it down. It's all okay in the end. But yeah, like I said, if you are not really feeling a book or if it's not completely holding your attention, that's okay. It happens to everyone. And some books just aren't for you. That's the whole point of the book community, is we're all filled with different opinions, different tastes, different likes. And yeah, that's okay. That's what makes us unique. And it would be really boring if we were all the same. All right, next opinion. Man, I talked about that one quick, but it wasn't very necessarily controversial. I feel like that's a pretty generally accepted one. Maybe not for some people, but in the whole. But you may not have known that that was generally accepted. But yeah, it's totally okay for you to put down a book. Anyways, good one. So this person said, I hate that people are marketing books by tropes. Let me talk on this because in ways it's good because you want to know what is in a book before you go into it. Like for me, I have to check spice ratings. I have to check stuff like that. At least for me, for mental reasons and religious reasons, before I go into a book, I have to know what's in it. I always have to check spice ratings. I always have to check, you know, like different kinds of content in the book that may go against some of my boundaries personally when reading. And that's great. But as far as like marketing a book by its tropes, like we're getting so specific now when you market a book. It's like, oh, you know, like the one bed trope or hold the knife against a throat trope. And yet people have the audacity to complain when books are repetitive. Like, I'm sorry if this offends some of y'all, but like literally, you are asking for it. You're getting the market to mass produce these tropes, mass produce these exact scenes. Then you can't complain when they happen and a book seems repetitive or doesn't have a plot, because the whole reason authors are writing these scenes in the first place is to market them to a mass audience that likes these tropes. And also, it just feels like, yes, we're getting original stories, but also not. Like nothing is original anymore. It's all reused content, reused everything, like built on top of each other. And that's why you can read so many of today's popular book talk books like Powerless or like Red Queen and recognize themes like The Hunger Games in it, or Divergent, or just things like that, like, and everything seems like each other. And it's all because we keep reusing these tropes, like, let's come up with new tropes. And now I understand that we're never gonna have perfectly original material, obviously. Like, we can't come up with necessarily anything that somebody hasn't already come up with. We just tell it in a different way. So in that aspect, there's not really unique ideas, but there is. But as far as marketing the book by its trope, I feel like we should be marketing the book by its genre, what the book's about, like the whole summary on the back. Like, we shouldn't be doing, I don't know, like we shouldn't be looking for specific scenes in books. We should just be looking for the book itself. And I think that would help authors as well. They don't feel like they have to work around your opinion and what you want, but then I understand, you know, they're not going to make money, but I don't know, it's a whole problem, and there's definitely two sides to every coin. But in that aspect, I also don't think that we should market books by tropes. I think it's become, and if you are going to do it by genre and do it by content warnings, which that's another thing. Books should definitely, like, I'm noticing it in some, but more books need to put trigger warnings and content warnings on like the first page of the book. I think that is so helpful. Like one book I wanted to pick up about a month ago was When the Moon Hatched, and they had trigger warnings and content warnings on the first page, and I immediately set the book back down because I can't deal with stuff like that. So that was super helpful to me, and I think honestly more books should do that, especially in a world today. There's lots of people who get triggered easily from different things in books, and if they don't know that's in the book, it could lead to some really bad situations. So I think that's also something. Instead of tropes, market by what the book's about, you know, obviously the genre, and then add the content warnings rather than like, oh, this scene's in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. So sorry if that doesn't make sense, but that's my opinion on it. Books hurt my brain. That was my cousin, and I am gonna call him out because he doesn't read. So you know what, if books hurt your brain, that's okay, but that's a you problem, babe. You should probably go get that checked out. Just saying. Okay, this is more of a controversial one, but we're gonna talk about it. So, because that's what hot takes are for, guys. So this person said putting smut and other crazy explicit content in young adult is not the move. 100% agree. If you don't, you're entitled to your own opinion, but there may be a problem because Now, am I all for sex ed for young adults? 100%. Because I feel like nowadays, sex ed and education, like this is a whole different topic, but kind of related, is more just like, oh, you can do whatever you want as long as you use protection, but they don't tell anybody the consequences of their actions or what's not safe to do. Like, it's just so very bare. Nobody really takes the time to actually educate anyone. So I feel like if we were actually educating kids, this wouldn't be a problem in the first place. But because we're not educating them, they don't know enough. And then they go to books, which are putting crazy X-rated explicit content and young adult books that they should not be exposed to. Am I aware that they will be exposed to it? Yes. In complete transparency, I was exposed to pornography in 3rd grade. Okay, the average age for kids to get exposed to porn in the United States is age 8. Okay, so it's awful, but we shouldn't be helping that system along. Like, kids should be learning from those, like learning sexual things through their parents and through the school system, not through books that are exaggerating things and giving them unclear examples of what sex is really like, and getting them to have crazy expectations and then live lives obsessed with it that fall apart if it doesn't meet those expectations that the books have set. So I definitely 100% agree that putting explicit content in young adult books is not the move. Young adult is literally age 13 to 17. That is a child. That is a minor. And you are marketing sex to them. They should not, when the age of consent isn't till 16, but you've got below 16 reading that. Okay? So point being, it should not be in young adult books, period. Now, no. No. I was gonna say if it's historical, I feel like a rare mention of it, like, again, it's explicit content. So there's a difference between it being historical and a mention of something. So like saying like she was raped or whatever and not describing it versus it being explicit. But yeah, I definitely think, again, schools should get freaking better at educating kids, and then this wouldn't be a problem. And if they actually cared about the kids' well-being and mental health, then they probably wouldn't let those books in either. Now, what your parents allow you to do and what your parents educate you on is a whole different thing. But as far as like mass marketing, but again, if your parents allow you to read adult books, that's different. It's the whole point of it, putting sex in a book and then calling the book YA. No, if there is sex in the book, it is an adult book, period. Okay, moving on. Okay, this person said all of Anna Huang's books are repetitive and not that good. I've never read an Anna Huang book. I think it's Anna, but she spells it like mine, so she's betraying the Annas, guys. it's a whole argument I have on that. If you want to hear it someday, let me know. You probably don't, but it's okay. I almost spilled my drink. Don't look at me. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, I've never read any of her books. She's the one who wrote, like, I think, like, she wrote the Twisted Games. I know she wrote, like, King of something. King of Wrath, maybe? I don't know. I hear book talkers talk about it. I'll put it, like, somewhere on the screen here. But yeah, so again, I don't know personally, so I can't really speak on that. But she is a popular book talk girl, and it, like we said, like earlier with the marketing tropes, there is a possibility that she is repetitive because a lot of book talk books are, and are again marketing by tropes. So I can't agree or disagree with you because I don't have any opinion on that. If you guys want to talk about it in the comments, feel free. I personally will probably not be reading her book because I think there's some content in it that I don't typically allow myself to read because it triggers me religious reason, that kind of thing. But yeah, so if you guys want to talk about it in the comments, feel free. Feel free to keep talking about these topics in the comments below. I want you guys to. I will respond. I will talk about it together. Anyways, on to next. Ooh, this one's good. She said, celebrity book groups are stealing authors' rights and book money to make movies and own them. 100%. I cannot tell you how annoyed I get when I see a Reese's, like, what is it? Reese Witherspoon, who has her Reese's book club or whatever, and they put this, like, the imprinted, not even a sticker, on the cover of the book. Like, I don't care what celebrity book club this book freaking came from. I don't care that the celebrity marked it. Do I pick books based off other authors' comments? 100%, because they're authors. But a celebrity who read a book, why do they automatically get to credit it, smack their thing on the cover, and then take the author's rights, like money and movies and everything, and then they get credited for it like they wrote the book, but literally they just read it? Like, girl, if that's all it took to make money, like, no, it's literally almost like it's a lesser evil form of, like, plagiarism, bro, because you did nothing to, like, earn the right to mark that book or market it as something that belongs to you, because it doesn't. It belongs to the author, and the author should be getting full credit, full stop, and I want to stop seeing those things on my covers, please, and thank you. That's my opinion on it. Okay, this is a really good one, actually. So not all strong female characters are actually strong. Being sarcastic, emotionally closed off, or violent doesn't automatically equal strong. True strength can include vulnerability, empathy, and growth qualities often overlooked in YA protagonists. I 100% agree with this, and actually I was thinking about it the other day because I have a dream to write a book one day, and I was thinking about my female protagonist, and obviously the way my story is flowing is she's going to have to be a tough protagonist, but I'm thinking of, you know, how can I include these vulnerable moments, right? Because I think our culture has given a very unhealthy view of feminism now, because originally it started from a good place because women were suppressed and didn't have rights and blah, blah, blah. Is there still sexism in the world? 100%. Am I all for women? 100%. But we've gotten to the point where we look down on other women, because they're not choosing to go to the gym like the bros, or they're not choosing to go fight in the army, or different things. If you are a boss woman who is called to that, 100%, do your thing, girl. Slay the day away. But if a girl just wants to be a mom, that's okay too. Moms are literally superheroes. None of us would be here without moms. Even if your mom wasn't present. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally women are superheroes, and most of those women superheroes are mothers. And I'm not saying, like, everybody has a calling, but, like, we've lost the feminine side of things, because I think that's the beauty of women, is the ability to be feminine. And, like, obviously, if you're a tomboy, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, like, as far as, like, saying we have to eradicate this vulnerable femininity in order to be strong women, that is such a toxic mindset. Like, I do not have to dress a certain way for the male gaze or do certain things to prove I am strong. You know, there's strength in raising children, their strength in being a wife. It is okay to want a man, okay? Literally, like, Disney movies are getting on my fracking nerves because they literally are getting rid of the princes altogether. And I'm like, girl, okay, I get it. You want some feminist characters. You want some do it on their own girl bosses. That's great. We have Moana. We have Elsa. We have Merida. You know what I'm saying? If you can create more of those characters, but like this whole live, I'm not even going in the live action thing, but like taking away the princess from the original stories, like if you're talking about representing every little girl out there, it is okay for a little girl to want to grow up and be married and to be treated well by a man. Like, why are we promoting that you either have to be single or be with a toxic man to have love? Sorry. Who said that? Anyways, moving on. So yeah, I definitely think the whole strong female protagonist is 100% overdone. Like, I think I'm honestly getting tired of it because the books that have stood out to me more recently are the ones where, yes, they can be strong, but they're more on the, like, not as physically strong side, but they're mentally strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay if they can't throw a dagger. It's okay if they can't beat 10 guys up. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean they're any less strong. They're just strong in a different way. Period. That kind of leads into this one. I'm actually going to go straight into this one, where it's promoting abusive, toxic men and excusing it because they're hot in books is not it. Okay, I've kind of fallen for this. I literally made a short about it. Sometimes the tortured man is really hot. Anakin in Star Wars is really hot. Tom Blythe as Snow is really hot. But, Ben Barnes as the Darkling is really hot. But, does that make them good men, character-wise, not actors? Disregard all of that. No. And we, as a society, have come to the point where literally every other male protagonist, I don't know what the male lead character in a book is literally so toxic and such a red flag. Like, they're literally abusive. They are freaking killing people. Okay, if they're killing for you, that's a whole nother topic. But point being, like, we've romanticized the stalker, we've romanticized the cheater, the playboy. Like, these guys are not actually falling for these women. Do you really think that? Like, we romanticize that, and I'm like, okay, this is why just because they're hot, their toxic behavior is excusable. No. Do I recognize that all these characters I named are hot? Yes. That does not make them good people. I feel like we should have learned this by now. As a society, in general, if you have been in the daytime, does not make him good on the inside. But we fantasize that in books. And I think there are definitely women who don't follow that, even though they read it. But there are women that are being influenced that do follow that. And whether they know it or not, there is certain things that change in your mind over time. If you are constantly feeding something to yourself or constantly teaching yourself that something is okay, you may not be as able to recognize it if it ever comes at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may not be able to see the signs if it's become so hidden in a mindset. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, let's go to a lighter topic because we've been doing controversial ones. Well, this one is fine. Kind of hate the way everyone is just doing sprayed edges now and the solid color ones are poop. 100% agree. I think it is overdone. Guys, it was cool last year when, like, maybe 1 in 20 books had sprayed edges. Not even 1 in 20, like 1 in 50. Now every other book at Barnes & Noble, even if it's not a special edition, has sprayed edges. What am I supposed to do? Display all my books by their edges? That's literally insane. Sometimes I want the spine, guys, because I can't even tell what the book is anymore. If it's got a cool design, that's different. But also, like, I'm not trying to buy sprayed edges for a book I don't even know if I'm going to like. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was a special edition, that's one thing. Like, then I want the sprayed edges, then I want the cool hardcover, whatever. But like, if I'm just buying this paperback, can't speak English. If I'm just buying this paperback just to buy the paperback, I don't give a crap whether they have sprayed edges or not. And again, the solid color ones are absolute crap. Like, what is even the point? Why do you have sprayed edges? You don't need them. Is it because your cover sucks? It's probably because your cover sucks. Anyways, moving on. Ooh, this is a good one. The love triangle trope is mostly lazy writing unless it serves a deeper narrative or character development arc. It's usually just filler drama. Many readers are tired of the brooding boy versus sunshine boy setup. Literally, this is what I hated about This Summer I Turned Pretty. Like, everything was just so freaking predictable. I hated all the characters, to be honest, Belly the most, because she's just so toxic. They're all so toxic. But you're so right. Unless there is like some kind of character development or it serves some kind of purpose in the larger plot, most of the time it is just filler drama. And especially when a series becomes all about this stupid love triangle, I'm so done. Like, again, like if it serves a purpose, okay. Like, one that serves a purpose is the Inheritance Games. There's a love triangle until the second book, but then it's resolved and then there's character development and it goes great, right? But then there's books like This Summer I Turned Pretty where it's literally all about the stupid love triangle and there's no other plot and nothing ever changes and people don't develop at all. So it's a problem. Here's one that says I can't even read. Historical biographies are fire. I agree. You know what? I've not read one, for sure. I genuinely, let me think. No, I haven't read a historical one, but I probably should. Oh, unless we count The Hiding Place. Is that a historical biography? Are we just talking about people in history? Clarify that, please. You know what? Sure. To each their own. I'm not, yeah, fun. Go for it, babe. Slay. Oh, child. This person said, I like reading series out of order. Jill is over there. Babe, what are you doing? I had a friend like this in school. You're spoiling the whole thing. Nothing's gonna make sense. It's different if the series is like, can be read as standalones, but if it's a connected series, make it make sense. Series out of order. Why are you torturing yourself? If you're gonna read them all anyway, just read them in order. Pretty please. For me and my sanity. Thank you. Audiobooks count as reading. 100%. I audiobook all the time. For people that don't, like, okay, this is the way one of my favorite booktubers, Larry Reeds, explained this. She said, basically, like, if we're having a conversation about the same book, right? And I'm answering all these questions, like, oh, what about this part and this part and this part? I'm like, oh, yeah, I love this part and whatever, right? And I never told you I listened to it on audiobook. You're like, oh, yeah, you read the book, right? So you're still absorbing the same content. Just because you're not reading words on a page doesn't mean you're not reading the book. You know, it's like when you're being taught a lesson, you can read it from a textbook or a teacher can teach it to you. As long as you get to the same point, you've done the same thing, you take the same test. You know what I'm saying? So audiobooks 100% count as reading. And yeah, I use them a lot actually when I'm doing laundry or just working around the house, and it really helps my reading goals because I don't have time to sit down and pick up a paperback or hardback every time I want to, even though I want to. You know what I'm saying? I have life. Ooh, here's one. The chosen one trope needs to evolve or die. We've seen enough of teens being told you're the only one who can save the world unless it's deconstructed, a la Shadow and Bone or Percy Jackson in later books. It often lacks nuance. I agree. I also have been like thinking about this for my own book. Like, yes, she's gonna be a hero, but she's not gonna be the only one that could be the hero. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we see so much of that where it's like, you're the only one in the world, you're the chosen one, or you find out you have abilities. Like, again, it's just, again, like there's no real original content. It really depends on how you tell the story and your voice behind it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is very redundant and very overdone. And if you don't do it right, it just sounds repetitive. And yeah, after a while, you're not gonna want to read it. But that isn't to say there aren't pretty good books out there with chosen ones. I do actually like, I actually did really like Shadow and Bone. Not as much as obviously Six and Crows and stuff. Percy Jackson I obviously love. But I feel like she did say in the later books. So, I don't know, but I do agree. Yeah. I'm kind of dying out. Okay, let's do one more, and then we'll end for today. Book talk should never have existed. Let's talk about it. So, the concept of book talk is great. Obviously, like there is to every single thing in the universe, it can be used for good or bad. It can obviously promote really crappy books, really overhyped books. But here's the thing is like, all in all, it's done at least good in the department of people getting into reading again. Because before book talk happened, like there were so many bookstores going out of sale. I genuinely don't even remember there being that many books, like especially like in Target or Walmart, and now they both have like complete book sections. So point being, I think it serves good and bad, but I don't think that it should never have existed. I definitely think it has a place, and it's a really great community for people to come together and share the love of reading. And that's why I'm here. You know, like I wouldn't be having this YouTube channel. You guys wouldn't be watching if Book Talk hadn't started all of this. Like, not that I had TikTok, but it started the fact that people can literally make careers out of making videos about their passion for books and their love for books. And I think that it has really connected us in ways that we wouldn't have been if that wasn't a thing. So, to each their own opinion. I definitely recognize there are bad things about it, but I definitely think in the long run, it's connected us and it's got us here, which is what matters. So thank you guys so much for joining me today on this little discussion. I didn't get to everyone's responses. If I do this again, I will definitely get to them. If you want to see me do a part 2, please like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things. And yeah, shout it out in the comments. Do Battle of the Wits, and I will see you guys next time. Love you.